football. Football's good. Okay, so we'll give a minute for everybody to get online. And tonight we are going to be making ground turkey enchiladas. Super, super easy to do. I've done this after work about 1 billion times because it's so fast. You can kind of throw this mix together in about 15 minutes. I actually have some in the oven. That'll beep in about 5 minutes, so I'll show you the after, and we'll also make it together for you today. So what we're gonna start with is I have some just regular green onions, some chives, green pepper, red onion. I'm going to use enchilada sauce, of course. Can't miss the enchilada sauce. You can either make black beans if you have time, or just get the can, okay? Can makes it really, really fast. And the cheese I'm using is just the Mexican cheese today. And then I pre-made some jasmine rice in my rice cooker. If you guys have a rice cooker, this is really great because they time, so you can actually set this up before you go to work, leave it in there and set it up for a time to be ready when you come home, so you can just throw it right in, or just make it. Rice doesn't take too long, so you can actually start that while you're getting everything prepped and ready to go, which is what I used to do before I had the rice maker. So it works pretty quickly. All right, so tonight we're gonna start by heating our pan. And this is one of the very few Gordon Ramsay recipes that is not a Gordon Ramsay recipe. It is not a Gordon Ramsay recipe. It's one of the things that I just kind of put together back in the day when I was trying to do something quick and fun. So I think everybody will like this. It's really, really easy, and I think for feeding the whole family on this is about, well, with all 5 kids, when they were home, I guess for 7 of us, it was about 20 bucks. So normal size family, 4 people, it's about 10 bucks. So it's really cheap, cost effective, and extremely good. So you definitely want to try this one. All right. So as this heats up, as you know, I'm going to start with olive oil. I will, because I'm using ground turkey, add a little butter in this because ground turkey can be dry and you don't want to try food, all right? It doesn't taste good. You can use ground beef if you prefer ground beef, lamb, whatever you want to use on this. I used lamb actually for the first time the last night. I cooked ground lamb. It's really greasy, just an FYI, so you want to make sure you drain that. So what we'll do is, while this is heating, we'll go ahead and we'll start chopping our vegetables. Now I do try to chop the chives very thin because you don't want big pieces of chives in your mouth when you're eating your enchiladas. All right, you want to taste the flavor without letting it overwhelm you. So just chop them as thin as you can. If you want, just do a little extra at the end. There we go. Again, make sure you've got a clean surface as always, because you need a clean surface to cook on, all right? If it's not clean, it's not going to do well for your food or your belly or anybody else that eats it. All right. So while this pan is heating up here, I'm just gonna chop up my chives. All right, chives are done. Green pepper. A really cool way that I learned how to do green pepper is, you see these lines right here? All right, cut these lines and it opens up the green pepper right away, and you don't have to worry about seeds because they just kind of part right in. So take it and just pull this right out. And of course, rinse your green pepper. Green pepper is rinsed and de-seeded. So simple, nice and clean, and it literally took 3 cuts and you've got your whole green pepper de-seeded and ready to be sliced. Again, so we're gonna want to make sure that this is also not super thick, but you don't want it to disintegrate either. So let's chop all this up. I can feel that pan starting to get hot, so this is great. Now the reason, just in case I didn't say it, the reason you want the pan hot first is because if you put the oil in a cold pan and then let it heat up, it will burn the oil. You just press timer here, and I'm actually gonna give that 5 more minutes, 7. All right. It will burn the oil, so the trick to not burning your oil is letting your pan get hot first before you put the oil in. So some pans you can see because it'll smoke on the outside. Other pans, well, you just can feel the heatness like I can right now. All right, for your red onion, I like red onion because it's not acidic. It's not as acidic as like a white onion. So I like the flavor a little bit better. Say hi.
Hi. So what are we making today, Mom?
We're making enchiladas, Baby Bear.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Good? I know you like them. All right. Again, I'm not a professional cutter here, just a mom, but you get the point. Get it all chopped up. All right, maybe one day I'll be a professional cutter. Ha.
Is that meat?
That is the ground turkey, sweetheart. Don't touch it, it's raw. All right, so now that our pan is heated, we're gonna put about a tablespoon of oil in here, olive oil. All right, and actually I'm just going to tag, okay. So we've got our olive oil in, and now we're gonna put our veggies in. All right, so with the veggies, again, with everything, you want to make sure you season it. So salt and pepper, okay? So we're going to add our fresh ground pepper. We're going to add our sea salt. And I'm going to overdo it because it's got plenty of salt in the enchilada sauce. And then we're going to let this cook down. So we're just going to give this a minute, let this cook down. While this is cooking down, you can go ahead and get your meat ready. So take your meat out, and one of the things that happened to me a ton of times, you know, working and forgetting is defrosting the meat. So yes, I have put, and I think it actually is a little bit frozen, ground turkey in here, but I don't recommend it. Definitely you want to have it de-thawed, but is it possible? Yes. All right, so we're gonna let that cook down, and I'm gonna get our meat. Hey Maggie, happy anniversary to you. Miss Maggie just celebrated her, I think it's 11th wedding anniversary, right? I know, so I got to love on her precious little puppy this morning while she was doing anniversary stuff.
That's over a decade. That's impressive.
That is impressive, huh? Alright. Alright, one of the things, make sure you have a cloth with you at all times, because last thing you want to do is put your dirty hands on stuff, especially when you're dealing with raw meat. Alright, so this is going, if you can't hear it, it's not cooking. Your vegetables should be cooking. Alright, do not put it on low and expect this to come out phenomenal, because it's not going to cook. So, let's just keep cooking this up real quick. These veggies cook down. Alright. Alright, and we don't want to lose any veggies. So, alright, there's our veggies. Now, I'm not putting, 11. I'm not putting any hot peppers in here. Typically, I put jalapenos in here, but because the kids are eating it, they will revolt and have a fit if I put jalapenos. So I suggest jalapenos for some spice, but again, if you have little ones or you just don't like it, you don't have to put it. So we're gonna add our meat in here. And I'm actually not using all of this. Alright, and we're gonna start to mix this up and let this cook in. As this is cooking in, I'm going to start opening up the items that we're going to need to add into this. One is your black beans. Black beans are phenomenal. If you like red beans are good too in this, but I think black beans just come out better, so I'm just using just the cheap, regular, giant brand black beans. And you can get them regular, you can get them seasoned. I like the seasoned, but I think these ones are regular, which is fine. Make sure you drain these because you do not want runny enchiladas. Your enchiladas need to have some base to them, okay? So, drain everything from that can of beans out if you are using canned beans. All right, we're just gonna put this to the side real quick because I wanna cook my meat first. Another thing we're gonna have in there is, for this one, this is a 10-ounce can. So I'm gonna put this whole can in here as part of the flavoring for this enchilada, and this is the red enchilada sauce. I have two different sizes. I have this little one, and then I've got the big one, and I seem to be having trouble with my can opener. That we'll put in our pan. Once I actually get this open. I don't know what's going on with this happy can. This can doesn't like me. Okay. And again, we're not going to put this in yet because we're going to wait for our rice. Alright? So, you'll see at the end of this, this is really only 15 minutes of cook time on the stove. Which is really great when you're tired and you've worked all day, but you still need to cook a meal. And you want it to taste good. So we're going to get all that flavor in that meat. You don't want unflavored meat. So we're going to get, again, if you have jalapenos, that'll give it some heat. If you've got somebody in your house like our little ones, my twins, that don't like heat, then don't add it in, no big deal. All right, now that this is just about done, I'm going to add my rice. Let me just check on that one in there. So for the rice, I made jasmine. I'm going to have about 1.5 cups of rice. Oops. Technical difficulties there. So there's that one. All right. Now, the reason I start the rice first is because you want to make sure that you've got enough in here. If you put all this red sauce in here, you're not going to really be able to make sure that you've got enough rice to compensate with your meat. So this way you can add more. And you know how much you're adding. Because too much, it's going to be a little overwhelming. This is jasmine rice, by the way. It's my favorite. You can use parboiled rice, white rice, whatever rice is just your flavor. But I do like jasmine rice. I think it's just got a better flavor to it. And you can see I kind of have a lot more meat than I do rice here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more rice to this. And you notice I have not turned down the temperature on this pan. I still have it up. I can still hear the sizzling, and you want that sizzle sound because you know it's still cooking, all right? So don't turn down the temperature. Just keep moving, adding in your rice, adding in your food, keep stirring it. It's not going to burn. It's just going to keep cooking. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people turn it down because they think it's going to burn, when really it's going to just stop it from cooking. So as long as you keep moving this and cooking this food in here and don't let it just sit, it's not going to burn. All right. So we want to make sure that we just continuously are cooking this. All right, and just so you know, I've already salted my rice. I salted in the rice cooker, which is why I'm not adding more salt into this right now, because I salted my veggies with salt and pepper. Now that I can see, as you can see, there's plenty of rice in here to go with the food. So I'm gonna add my, I'm gonna add my little secret, fire roasted diced garlic tomatoes. So I used about half the can earlier in my other batch, which is in the oven, so that I can show you what it looks like when it's done. This is really good flavor. The garlic, which is why I didn't add fresh garlic earlier, because there's so much garlic in this, gives it a really nice flavor. The tomatoes kind of sweeten it up and give it a nice texture. And again, it's like 98 cents for the can, so you're still doing really good on budget. All right, now I'm adding my enchilada sauce into this. All right, we're just gonna mix all that in. Again, I'm not turning down the heat. We don't want this to stop cooking. All right. So you can see here, getting that all mixed in, it's bubbling up. This is what we want to see, because we're about to start adding our cheese. All right. So that's your first couple of things that you're going to put into the meat. Again, this has only been about 15 minutes and we're about done. So this is a really good recipe. Actually, I forgot my butter, but I'm going to add a little bit of butter into here. All right. Okay, so now the I meant to add the butter with the turkey earlier, but that's okay. We'll add it now. All right. Now we're going to start with our cheese. So the cheese are, these 8-ounce bags, just your normal bag. You can get your own stuff and grate it if you want, but again, if you're trying to make fast, you can just buy the bag. I get the thin, there is a thick version. I get the really thin version. Hey, Lori, because it helps dissolve faster, and it just really mixes in well. So I'm only using about 4 ounces of that, so about half the bag. You can use less if you're not a big cheese person, but because I'm using, I'm cooking for 4, or 5 actually tonight, then this is plenty. And you can see this is going to get nice and cheesy. That's what we want. All right, and now we're going to turn off our heat. So this is the only time we're going to turn off our heat. Now that everything is mixed, everything is cooked, we can finally turn off that heat. And this is ready to go. Now, one of the things before we make our enchiladas is you want to taste this. Never serve food without tasting it, all right? Big deal. So make sure that you taste it. It tastes good. If not, fix it. This is going to be hot, so I'm going to give that just one quick second while I check this. All right, and that is almost done. Our other enchiladas that I pre-cooked and pre-made before this are in the oven and we're almost ready to go. Oh, that's good. You will love this recipe, I'm telling you. All right, so we're gonna get this out of the way and we're gonna grab ourselves a pan for our enchiladas. I think I will use, this one will be fine. All right, so for the enchiladas, what I'm using are white corn enchiladas tonight. So if you're a gluten-free person, this is going to work really well for you. They're, not huge, very soft, and they've got great flavor. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to put our enchilada sauce in the pan. so we're just gonna line this pan with enchilada sauce. All right, open this up. All right. And you're not gonna use the whole can, you're just gonna do enough to line it. Alright, so you've got a base to sit your enchiladas on. And 1 minute, and then I'll be ready to go. I have the oven on 350. Your meat's already cooked, so you don't need to put a ton of heat from your oven into this, okay? You're really just melting your cheese and getting the sauce cooked in. Now with these, it's real simple. Grab a tablespoon, fill it up, roll it, and pop it in. Again, like I said, if you want some heat, I didn't put heat in here, add some jalapenos. When you roll it, you see I roll it and I flip it over, so this is the base, okay? So the opening is the base, that way it stays closed. If you don't like jalapenos, throw some hot sauce in here. I'm gonna throw some hot sauce on it when I eat mine, but again. So, and we're just gonna go ahead and just keep doing that on each one of these. As you'll see, we'll have extra. I typically do about 2 for my family because they tend to eat like 4 of these each. They really enjoy them. As do I, so you will love them too when you try them. And you can see that's just cheesy. That is just nice and thick. All right, you do not want a runny enchilada, all right, or it's just gonna go all over this pan. It's gonna make a hot mess and it's gonna come out, and you might as well just not call it an enchilada anymore because you're not gonna be able to actually bite into this. So nice and thick. Plenty of color in here. You've got your nice color, look at that. That is phenomenal, and the flavor is so good. If you do too much, it's okay. You can always add another tortilla with it and wrap it on the bottom, or you can just leave it as it is. No big deal. Or take some off and put it back in the pan. All right. Now, another way that I used to make these really fast for the family without having to do the ground turkey is I would actually stop by the store, and this is the quick tip that I was talking about earlier on Facebook. I would stop by the store and I would get a rotisserie chicken. And with the rotisserie chicken, I would literally cut the chicken breast off and all the other meat, and I would just throw the meat in the rice that was already pre-cooked. And so you cut half your cooking time on the stove, in half, because you've got that pre-cooked rotisserie chicken from the store. So again, that's another really fast way you can do this if you have like a longer commute, like I know I do. You know, I commute almost an hour. Well, actually, almost an hour without traffic. Definitely an hour or more sometimes with traffic. We love traffic, but not right now. There's no traffic. Bonus to COVID, no traffic. All right, so I'm just kind of putting them in the sides here and lining them up. All right, so these are ready, and I'm going to show you how we're going to top these before we put these in the oven, okay? Because you do have to top them. You cannot put them like this. But first, let me take these out of the oven and show you the after. Oh yeah. Alright. Let me actually, I will show those to you up close in just a second as I finish these. Alright, so you're going to cover it with your enchilada sauce. Like I said, I'm going to need a little bit more, so I still have one more can here. And we're going to put some cheese on that as well once we get the rest of the enchilada sauce on top here. right. So now what I specifically try to do is cover all the edges. And that's because you don't want the edges burning in the oven. And if you just have plain white corn tortilla or whatever corn tortilla you use, without it being moist and covered, it will cook and you're gonna get that crunchy edging. If you like the crunchy edging, fine. But I don't think it's enchilada-y, if that's a word. So now I'm gonna add another bit of cheese here on top. Again, I'm covering my edges of the corn tortillas. Super simple. And it's done. This is ready. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Maggie. So this is actually ready to go. I'm gonna pop this in the oven and then I'm gonna show you the finished product over here that I just pulled out. And I do not even cover those. I'm actually gonna pop it in the oven for 20 minutes. I don't cover those with foil. There's no need to because honestly it cooks so much better without. You can see here, this is your after effect right here. The enchilada sauce, it's definitely not burnt, you can see that. And this is so good. I promise you, it will become a family favorite in no time. Actually, it'll be a family favorite the first time you make it. And I will show you here. I think some of these I actually had double wrapped. So this was about, like I said, about 20 minutes in the oven. And first one's always the messy one, right? And voila. So there you go. You have your enchilada. It is, I know, right, Maggie? It is really good. Like I said, if you want an extra hot sauce, there's some hot sauce on here, and you've got it going on. And your kids, everybody will love this meal. And if you want to go faster, you don't have to do the ground turkey. Just buy a rotisserie chicken, cut that up, throw it in, and you're ready to go even, 15 more minutes faster. Okay, and that's what I have for tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys try the recipe. I will post it online with the video so you guys can cook this and enjoy it with me. All right, love you all. Bye.